Here is the conversation that never happens or seldom happens in the boardroom. Not because leaders are afraid of it, but because they do not know that it exists. For instance, you have a leader capable, committed, and experienced enough to know what good looks like. And they are consistently delivering below the level that you both know they are capable of. You have tried feedback, you have tried development programs, you have tried restructuring their responsibilities to give them a better run. But despite all of these things you're doing, it seems like nothing really works. And the performance gap is still there. Now, what nobody has told you is you are not necessarily dealing with performance problem. You are dealing with an identity problem. And those two things require completely different interventions. Let me show you exactly what I mean. A professional services organization promotes one of their highest performing associates, and they promote this person into a senior leadership role. She has earned it in every measure: client relationship, technical output, team contribution, all exceptional. The promotion is unanimous. And 18 months down the line, she is performing adequately, not badly, adequately. And in a role that demanded exceptional, adequately is a problem because exceptional is needed. Now, her manager commissions a performance review. The review comes back with recommendations around strategic thinking, executive presence, and stakeholder communication. Then a development plan is put into place. She attends the recommended programs. She engages thoroughly. She takes notes. 6 months after that, she's still performing adequately. Or what almost no performance review ever asks, or very few do ask, is this: who does she believe she is in this role? Not what she knows, not what she can do, but who does she believe that she is? Because here is what the neuroscience of human performance tells us with extraordinary consistency. Thomas Edison said it plainly. He said, if we did all the things we're capable of, we would literally outstand ourselves. The gap between capability and output is almost never a skills gap. It is an identity gap. Every leader carries an internal operating picture of themselves. A stored self-concept of their creative subconscious treats as the fixed reference point for all automatic behavior. And guess what? And the creative subconscious has one overriding function: to keep actual performance consistent with that internal picture. When a leader steps into a role that requires a bigger version of themselves, more visible, more complex, more exposed, and their internal self-image has not expanded to meet that context, the creative subconscious pulls them back, not dramatically, quietly, through 100 small behavioral choices every day that none of them would consciously endorse, but all of them put together, they make them automatically. Now, the hedge in meetings where they should commit and there's often feedback that needs to be direct, then they defer to the room instead of leading it. They prepare thoroughly and then they underdeliver in the moment. They work hard at the role without ever working on the identity that the role requires. And all of these things happen automatically. Now, this is not a weakness. This is a wiring operating exactly as designed. And it is invisible to the person inside it. Now, here is where this becomes particularly urgent for any organization currently navigating the AI adoption or significant operational transformation. Now, when you ask a leadership team to adopt new technology, new processes, or new ways of making decisions, you are not just asking them to learn something new. You are asking them to become a different version of themselves in that role. You are asking their identity to move. If the identity does not move, their adoption does not stick. Your leaders will attend the trainings. They will understand the tools. They will agree with the rationale, and then they will default back to the version of themselves that they have always been. That is using the processes that they've always used, because that is what their internal operating picture says is normal for them. You get the picture? This is why AI governance frameworks fail in several organizations that implement them without addressing the leadership identity beneath them. The governance structure is sound. The people responsible for holding it are wired to a previous version of the role. What do you do about it? 3 actions. Specific this week, just try them. First, stop diagnosing performance and start diagnosing identity. In your next development conversation with a leader who is underperforming relative to their capability, why don't you set aside the competency framework for 10 minutes? And then instead ask them, when you are in your most challenging leadership moments, what is the story that is running in your head about your right to be in the room? Now, what they say will tell you more about the real gap than any performance data will. Second, change how you affirm your people. You see, most feedback affirms behavior. It tells people what they did well. What actually shifts the internal operating picture, actually, in this case, is affirmation of identity, not what someone did, but who you see them becoming. This week, tell one leader in your team specifically and directly who you see them being in 12 months, not what you want them to do differently. Who you see them becoming, that is powerful. That is a different kind of input that reaches a different level entirely. Third, when you are planning any significant change initiative, anyone, whether that is a technology rollout, a restructure, or an AI adoption program, build an identity question into your readiness assessment before you build a training program. Ask, are the leaders responsible for driving this change carrying a self-image that is consistent with the version of leadership this change requires of them? If the answer is no, address that first. The training will land completely differently once you do so. You see, the most expensive talent problem in most organizations is not poor hiring. It is capable people operating inside an identity that has not kept pace with the role they are being asked to fill. That is fixable. But only once you can see it clearly, that's when you can fix it. Otherwise, you can't. And seeing it clearly, specifically, precisely, without guesswork, is exactly where this work begins. Now, if this has named something that you recognize in your organization, that's this video, drop it in the comment. Tell me the role, the pattern, the gap, because the conversation that follows will be the most important one that will probably change your leadership style or take you to the next level in your organization. My name is Stallone-Obaraemi Samuel, and my sincere desire for you, my friend, is that you go on succeeding by becoming a better version of yourself. Thank you.